I didn't lose my job. I still had the house. So on the outside, everything looked okay. I grew up in a normal family, private school. I ended up going to VCU in Richmond. First night there, I went to a party and I drank for the first time ever. That numb feeling where everything went away happened. Throughout my years, I ended up racking up 4 DUIs. I had to serve some jail time. Woke up January 1st, 2017, car sideways in the driveway. Don't remember coming home. I texted a friend of mine who had quit drinking 2 years prior. I said, I can't keep doing this. Can you help me? Yep, we're going to go to a meeting tonight. And I remember hearing a story about a guy who had spent 10 plus years in prison for killing a family drunk driving.
Whew, it's funny how a couple of little sound effects can really send it home, hey? Wow.
Indeed.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? That was tonight's guest, Paul Holley. I'm Daniel Unmanageable, and this is Hard Knocks Talks, coming at you from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Treaty Number 6 territory, and the traditional homeland of the Métis people. Before we bring in Paul, I just want to remind our viewers and listeners to hang around to the end for a powerful sneak peek at next week's guest, person in recovery, Forrest Eaglespeaker from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. You can tap the featured link at the bottom of your screen on Facebook or in the description on YouTube to set a reminder for next week's show. But the man of the hour, Paul Holley. How are you, Paul?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Thank you for the bone-chilling scare you gave us there, saying that your phone was about to die, because even though I knew it wasn't true.
It's 9 o'clock here on the East Coast, so I'm trying to make sure people are awake,
Yes, well, we are. Thank you. So, is there anything that you'd like to say before we jump in tonight?
No, man, thanks for having me on. This is cool. You guys are halfway across the country up there in Canada, eh? So looking forward to hopefully helping, if we can help one person, right, tonight, that makes a difference. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys. Your studio looks amazing. I was able to see it before we went live. Virtually, compared to my studio, which is comprised of 3 boxes of Christmas lights, a portable charger, 2 monitors that don't work, but those are details you don't need to know.
The most interesting setup we had, I think, to date was one woman propped up her camera with 6 naloxone kits. Yeah. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get at it.
This is Hard Knocks Talks.
Okay, before we dive in, I just want to let our viewers and listeners know that tonight's live production is sponsored in part by Prairie Harm Reduction in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and Prairie Sky Recovery Center in Leipzig, Saskatchewan. Paul, we learned a little bit about you in the intro there. Yeah, you had some trouble with DUIs, and obviously things went sideways, literally and figuratively. But where did it all get started? Like, did you grow up around a lot of alcoholism?
Man, I mean, it runs in my family, right? And I've had a grandfather, a couple uncles. I've had family members die from alcoholism, right? So I knew in the back of my mind it was there, but growing up as a kid, went to Catholic school, kindergarten through 12th grade. Other than seeing wine at church, it wasn't really that relevant to the way I was living life and whatnot. It wasn't like my parents were coming home drunk every day, getting hammered. Didn't hang out with a lot of people that were getting drunk all the time. It was really baseball, basketball, golf, and trying to stay busy. So I knew it was there in the back of my mind, but I didn't touch it until I was 18.
Did you have any idea, like really growing up, you said like it wasn't really around much, but did you have any idea that like it could be problematic for people in your family?
I knew it could be a potential problem, right? Just because of what I had heard. No, I wasn't really, I really didn't get exposed to it a lot because that part of the family was, a lot of them were out of state. So I didn't really touch on that too much early on.
So you heard a little bit about it, but you didn't really have any like life experiences seeing it firsthand.
No, I mean, like, as a young kid, invincible, it's not going to happen to me kind of
Mm,
mentality. That can't happen to me.
yeah. So what was it like then, the first time you got loaded?
I'll tell you the truth, it was unbelievable, right? I
Yeah.
was 18, I was at VCU in Richmond, and it was the best feeling in the world, man. I went from a small Catholic school.
Hmm.
I think I might have had, I don't know, 40 people, 50 people in my graduating class, and went to a university with 20, 25,000 people, and I was
Damn.
in the same apartment complex. I think we had the basketball and the golf team in the same building, and the soccer team had a party that night, and I wanted to fit in, man.
Hmm.
I wanted to be liked. I was coming from this little school into a little, this big university, and went to a party. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I had a Boone's Farm, a Mad Dog, and a Miller Genuine Draft, in that order, and
So
drank them fast. And drank them
do you,
real fast.
do you think that um do you think that your growing up in such sort of like a sheltered environment was like of detriment when you got to this big community of so many people, and like did you feel like you just like let loose?
Yeah, I mean, going to a private school, right? You are shielded uh, from things, right, that happen in public school. Not to say that private's better than public and vice versa, but yeah, it was a little bit more sheltered going to a private, Catholic high school,
Hmm.
and you get to this university, man, and you're free, right? Your parents aren't there. You're out of sight, out of mind type of thing, right? And
Hmm.
again, I wanted to fit in, and I didn't think even for 20 years, as you'll find out, I didn't think I had a problem. Even that night, I didn't think I had a problem, because I could drink perfectly fine. And I drank and I blacked out that first night and woke up the next morning. And what do you think my famous last words were? I'm never doing it again, right?
Really?
The,
Like were you
the,
sick, or was
yeah,
it
I'm
just
never,
like
oh, yeah, hungover, throwing up, all the things, right? Don't remember anything. Everybody else told me what I was doing, right? Because it's
what'd you do?
normal to climb, climbing buildings, breaking things, just stupid. They could have told me anything, right? I don't remember because I was blacked out, right?
Uh-huh.
And I woke up. I woke up with a brand on my arm, a burn. It was like I don't know how that. I found out how that got there later, but I
What
mean,
kind of
just
like
crazy
was it like
stuff
like
that
an
you.
emblem, or did someone just burn you?
No, this was very professional, right? So it took a clothes hanger and put it on
Yep.
a skillet,
Yep.
got it red hot, and then made a little diamond with a seven on it because that was my lucky number seven. I guess
Just
that's what
woke
I told them that night.
just woke up with a gang tag after your first drunk.
Hey, gang, 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 gang. That's how we do. Private school, my man. That's how we roll.
Yeah.
Thugs.
We could jump down the conspiracy hole there if we wanted to, but that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that. That was the
Yeah.
first night.
So were you all in after that? Was it like the switch was flipped, or was there some moderation, or how did that go?
There was never, and I didn't, now that I look back, there was never moderation, right? And the way my brain works, what's the point of two drinks? I
Hmm.
don't get it. Like, I can go out with my folks still, and they'll have, a margarita or a beer or something, right? But
Hmm.
my mind doesn't work like that. I drink for the effect, not the taste, right? I think beer tastes disgusting.
Hmm.
It gave me heartburn. Liquor burned. It was disgusting. But that effect that I got, the feeling of freedom, that warm sensation, and don't get me wrong, at first it was fun, right? I had a blast that night. I didn't get in trouble.
Hmm.
I had a really really good time, and that was 18 years old, and that's when it all started.
Hmm. Yeah, I never liked the taste of any of it either. But I did like a good Caesar and gin and tonic. But yeah, like
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter. Like I remember drinking like the cheapest scotch I could find. Like, and I was gagging on it and choking it down. And but it didn't matter what it tasted like. I wasn't after like a flavor adventure.
I mean, think about the first night I got drunk, right? Miller Genuine Draft, Boone's Farm, and Mad Dog, right? You don't drink those like, at a fine restaurant or at a country club or
Hmm.
sip on those. It's disgusting, right? I drank for the effect, and those are the cheapest things I could find to get me where I wanted to as fast as I could.
Hmm. So did you notice, like, did it take you, well, I guess you did, it took a long time for you to notice, but did you complete school? Was your lifestyle like impacted negatively, or were things just like rose colored for a while?
So in my mind, it was rose-colored, but in reality, it was impacted, right? So I got kicked out of VCU. I had a point 0.8 GPA. I got one D, right? I'm not ashamed to say that. I didn't go to class. I would get drunk. I partied. I'd stay out till 5 in the morning or whatever, and didn't focus on school, right? So I get kicked out of there or asked to leave, and then transferred to a smaller school, Christopher Newport University, Newport News, which is an unbelievable school, right? They just won the national championship D3 this past year, so give those guys a shout out. Congrats to a great season. But yeah, I mean, that was 18 through 22, graduated school, and then got my first DUI at 23.
Mm.
Um, and didn't think and blew like I don't know, I mean it was like a point 0.2 or somewhere around there. It was never anywhere close to a point 0.08, right? Which is I don't know 2 or 3 beers, right? That's the legal limit in Virginia. Is ironically the same as my GPA, a point 0.08 or whatever. So I just kept rolling, man. I got that DUI.
What was that
Uh,
like
you
when you
know,
got that DUI? Were you like pissed at the cops, or like was this your fault? Like what kind of thoughts were you having at
Yeah, I
that
mean,
time?
it's funny, right? It wasn't my fault, right? Because
Yeah.
it was an off-duty cop. I was going down the interstate. I was leaving this area, downtown Norfolk, and I was speeding, right? I was going probably 100 miles an hour, and I remember I just wanted to get food, and I pulled off, and I didn't notice the off-duty police officer following me, and I pulled into a 7-Eleven, and I remember going in and getting a hot dog and a Coke or something like that. I just wanted to eat. And I look outside, and it looked like I'd robbed a bank, right? There's cops everywhere. And so I knew why they were there. And so I took a second, I ate my hot dog, I drank some of my Coke,
You
came out of
just sat there and
7-Eleven,
you're like
boom.
you just like watched them for a minute. You're just like, oh well, I'm gonna finish my dog.
I mean, they were nice enough not to come in and get me, so I figured I've got 2 minutes, and I eat fast,
Did they
so
give
I
you the
ate
hat
my
tip? They're
hot.
like, we're gonna let you eat your hot dog. Don't worry about it.
They weren't very nice once I finished it. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I got out. They threw me to the ground, and
Oh
I
no.
got thrown in jail that night. And then yeah, I bailed out the next day. Did some community service or something, and that was the first DUI, right? And the reality is, first DUI, not a lot. And I'm not trying to say it's okay, but not a lot. Well, it happened, at least back then on my first DUI. So, I behaved for a little bit and went about myself, right? I was working in radio at the time
Mm-hmm.
for a rock station. And if you guys are familiar with radio or entertainment, everywhere you go is, in that line of business is in that industry, right? You get complimentary drinks or you get really strong drinks, right? And so everywhere I went, you got hooked up and the drinking progressed. But I didn't get in trouble again for a few years, and I still kept my job, right? And I was still play golf and everything on the outside
Mm-hmm.
looked okay at that point.
So I no, I was creeping on your Facebook, and I think you actually mentioned to me as well. I mean, you have rubbed shoulders with some celebrities like Tiger Woods and Jay Leno, and did this happen in your active alcoholism, or was this after?
It was that was they wouldn't have let me close to those guys while I was drinking. And it wasn't Tiger Woods. It was just it was a regular guy. Michael Jordan was the guy that
Oh,
I was
just
able to play
Michael.
golf
Oh,
with.
sorry. Yeah, okay.
Just some
Yeah,
Yeah,
regular guy.
yeah.
Holy.
That's not as
yeah.
impressive. I mean, if you were,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
Yeah,
no.
that
that's like playing basketball with Tiger Woods. It's somehow like, it's not as impressive. Like if you were playing basketball with
yeah,
Michael Jordan, then I'd be like, So, anyways.
yeah. Yeah, that was way, I racked up, 3 more DUIs
Mm,
before that. But when I quit, uh, it was like it's crazy, man. When I quit January 1st, 2017, I'll even share. So to back up just a second, I did get 3 more DUIs, right? And I got my last one, and I lost my license. I got sentenced to a year in jail, all the things, right?
yeah.
And that's when reality hit. So I thought, right? So I did my time. I got out. I don't know how many weekends, man, but it was every weekend I go check in and check out, right?
So you
I
had to do
boycotted the food.
weekends for a year
Oh yeah,
or okay.
20, I think 20 weekends or something like that.
Yeah.
So I got sentenced to a year, but had to serve a certain amount of time, whatever that time was. Once that was done, you know, in my mind, keep in mind, I don't have a driver's license. I've got at this point 4 DUIs, and I still don't think there's a problem. Well, maybe there's a problem, but not really, right? To the point where I can go out and have 2 drinks and stop, and that's miserable, right? I was just torturing myself. 2017, 16, 17, New Year's Eve, I went out with the intent of having 2 drinks because we were going to go to a New Year's Eve party at this area
Mm-hmm.
called Town Center. And I went to my buddy's house, and we never made it. Ended up going to a couple of little bars, and that 2 drinks turned into a blackout, and ended up waking up January 1st, 2017, in my bed, car sideways. Keep in mind, I don't have a license, uh, and I texted a buddy of mine at like 6 or 6:30 who had quit drinking 2 years before, and I always called him a quitter. I said, "You don't know what you're doing, loser, blah blah blah." And he responded and said, "We are going to go to a meeting tonight." And I said, "Okay, cool." At that point, I was like, "I'll do whatever." And then in
Mm-hmm.
the afternoon, January 1st, that afternoon, 2:30 or so, I texted him, called him, or whatever, and I said, "Man, I'm tired. I can't make it. Sorry." And he said to me, "I'm not the one that texted you and asked for help. It was the other way
Mm-hmm.
around." I said, "All right, cool." And we ended up going to a meeting that night, and that's where you heard in the preview. I heard it gives me chills, man. That sound effect at the end.
Yeah, man.
Uh, that's when I heard that story about the guy that had killed a family and did a bunch of time in prison. And in my mind, it clicked. The cops weren't going to stop me. My parents weren't going to stop me. My brother, my family, nobody was going to stop me. I was the only one that could stop myself, and that was the moment. And even then, that really wasn't rock bottom, bottom. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense? Like, I, but I went there, and then I did what he suggested. I did, 90 and 90, and did all the things, and I've stuck with it since, man. And it's truly a one day at a time type of thing, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done, by
Mm.
far the hardest thing. And for people listening, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? But the
Yeah.
reality is, it's extremely hard. But I'm sitting here, and as are you, proof that it can be done,
Yeah.
but you got to
Let's
do it.
look at some comments. Yeah. All right. Oh shoot. It did the wrong thing. Hang on, we got to do this right. Let's try this again. There we go. Yay!
Yay! Okay, so Zach Drew, thank you for your comment. He says,
Past guest Zach Drew.
that's right. Says, I still think that alcohol is one of the most powerful and dangerous drugs out there.
Mm.
Hmm.
What do you think about that, Paul? You think that's true?
100%, man. I mean, on
Hmm.
TV, they make it look like it's so much fun, right?
Yeah.
You're having a blast, right? They don't ever show commercials what it looks like at 5, 6 in the morning, or well, where are those commercials at, right? Let's see
Yeah.
what the day
Yeah.
after's like,
Yeah.
and then get a real quick reality check.
Sniffing the
Yeah, the
empty beer
toilet bowl,
bottles so you know which one has the cigarette
yeah,
butts in it.
You do
yeah,
that? I
like
thought you just like
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, but that's spot on.
Yeah.
And BTG
That's Vince.
Vince, right.
Yeah, from
Sorry, I
Facebook.
forgot already.
I think it's Vincent. I
I
hope it's
think
Vincent.
I think you're right. But
Okay.
anyways, it's gonna take a little while to get used to the new names over here on YouTube. So
Yeah, that's the other thing. Y'all should come watch on YouTube, but you should also put your profile pictures up and your names so that we know. We're high maintenance.
Anyway, so he says, those 2 drinks turned into a blackout. Feel that 100%.
Hmm.
I think many of us can.
Yeah, yeah, it was every single time, man. And as
Yeah.
much as I try to control it, I just control it. And I finally admitted I was powerless over alcohol, man. My ego, all the things they just kept getting in my way, right? And I was like, I can beat this. I tried to change from, light beer to regular beer, dark liquor to clear liquor, right? I try, and people listen. Everybody's tried those things. It's insane, right? Just
Hmm.
quit, but I couldn't. And so, that's how it went.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel you on that one. Sherry Beckmeyer, thank you for your comment. Says, when I was 16, I wrecked my brand new car. It was totaled. They said in another state, I would have been legally drunk.
Hmm.
Not really quite sure what that means. I don't know how you can be legally drunk, but especially after totaling your car. I did kind of
Yeah.
ask for clarification on
Yeah.
that, so hopefully that'll come down the pipeline
That'll
soon.
that'll trickle in. Yeah, and like I was in a very devastating accident myself in my early 20s. My partner at the time was driving and we were loaded coming back to town on the highway from a wedding, and yeah, I woke up and there was tires screeching and the ditch was going by sideways, and yeah, it was really bad. I'm not going to go into a whole big long story, but yeah, it's real. Like it ain't no joke.
Yeah,
Just once.
I've woken up. Yeah, I've woken up to an airbag to the face, so I
Hmm.
feel you there.
Oh, time to wake up.
Yep, boom.
Yeah. Twinkle.
Twinkle, or as I'm apparently decided to call her this like all evening so far, Twinkly. I don't know why I keep typing that. I'm sorry. Anyway, she says, I was a straight up, no back, no rocks whiskey girl until vodka was cheaper and no carbs.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember going on the whiskey kick, and then I switched to vodka, right, to try to change it up, and then that's when Red Bull came out, and I would do the
Oh
Red Bull and
man.
vodka, and you that's black. That's the blackout drink, right?
Yeah.
And that's how we went.
Yeah. In fact, like bars around here weren't allowed to serve that combination after a short while.
Hmm.
Yeah. Even Bud's, man. Bud's is wild. It's a fun bar, but yeah,
Yeah.
they had to like, no more of that.
Yeah. Jason King.
Jason King says, been there, done that. Got to change to make a difference.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell it like where was your family during all of this? You know, you went to university, things went careening off the tracks. What did your family have to say? Did they know?
Oh yeah, they do, man. They bailed me out of jail every time. My mom and dad, right? I was a risk for my brother's wedding, so I didn't do the best man speech, which I totally get now. I mean, I got drunk there and tackled the. He went to Virginia Tech. I tackled the Hokey Bird when it came out. Man, it was just a disaster, right? My poor mom and dad, who were, I wouldn't be here without them, right? For many reasons, but they bailed me out every time,
Hmm.
and it
What did
sucked,
they
right? My
say?
mom, you've got to stop drinking, right? Please
Hmm.
don't do this again to us, right? And it wasn't that I was doing it on purpose or trying to hurt them or that I got
Hmm.
off on seeing them cry. I'm an alcoholic, man, and that's the real deal. I can't drink. I'll die or I'll be in prison. Those are my two
Yeah.
options.
Yeah.
And that last time, my mom looked at me and she goes, "I'm going to." My dad ripped me off at that point, the last time, which I totally get, right? He probably wanted to write me off, many times before that. But when your mom looks at you and says, "I'm going to leave you in God's hands. I can't do anything else," that's powerful, right? But even that didn't stop me.
Were you mad?
It's
Like,
like
did you get upset with her when she said that?
I always got mad, man, because it was y'all. It's y'all's fault, right? It's your
Yeah. Yeah.
fault. You keep pushing me. You're pressing me. You got to stop this, stop that. It's not my fault. But the reality, it was my fault. They weren't holding a gun to my head, making me drink.
Hmm.
So people weren't forcing me to go to a bar. I mean, you got to spend a lot of time and money to get drunk, right?
Hmm.
You've got to invest time and money to get drunk. And so, when I finally flipped that switch, it's funny, right? After I quit, because I would still travel for work a lot at 39 or 4. I quit when I was 39. So a year or two after that, and God bless my mom, she's the best, right? I would travel out of town, and I always would tell her I would text her when I would land or from the hotel, right? And because of everything I had done to them, just to give her an ease of mind to be able to go to sleep that night, right? Because there were so many nights where I wouldn't, I went missing because I was in jail, right? Can't use your cell phone in jail.
Hmm.
And so some of those times when I would travel and I didn't respond, she would light me up on text. Are you okay? Where are you? Is everything okay? And people might think that sounds weird, but when you've done what I've done to your, a parent, it's justified, man. And like I
Hmm.
said, I tortured them, but it's things have gotten a whole lot better now. But they were completely aware of everything. I don't think they were maybe not aware that I had a problem like I did. Maybe they didn't want to see it, but nobody wants to say that their kid's an alcoholic, or nobody wants. I didn't want to admit that I was an alcoholic, but that was the
Hmm.
reality, man, and
Hmm.
that's where we went.
So what was it like when you walked into the rooms for the first time? Like you walked into that first AA meeting. Like tell us about before you heard that story. Like were you ready to buy in? Like when you walked through those doors, did you feel like you maybe found home, or did it take a while for you to start buying into the program?
Took me 20 years. I went to AA my first time after my first DUI, right? Because the
Okay.
courts make you go.
Hmm.
And well, down here, they make you go and you get the little slip sign. And I thought everybody in there was a quitter. It was a cult. They're a bunch of losers that don't know how to drink. But little did I know,
Don't know
these
how to
people,
drink.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
Well, you
I'm
weren't
like, but
wrong.
as a
Like
kid,
you weren't wrong, I don't think.
yeah, they don't know how to control their drinking, but man, they're all
Yeah.
professional drinkers, right?
Yeah.
They just made a decision to quit,
Yeah.
and those are some of my best friends now, right?
Hmm.
Because I don't have like my brother said once. He had cancer and he beat it. He goes, I beat cancer. Why can't you just stop drinking? And it got to a point where I was like, it's not for you to understand why I can't quit, because I had to do it for myself. But those people in the rooms, we're all in there for the same reason, right? Nobody's making us go to these meetings, but it's a family because everybody in there gets it, right? We're all in there to help each other achieve the same goal, and that's not drink today type of thing.
Hmm. So you went for 20 years, like off and on, I'm sure. Um,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you remember the moment like where something changed. I mean, if you've been trying for 20 years to buy into this program or to stop drinking in some capacity, and then was it the story? And like tell us what that like felt like. Did you like immediately start doing the steps, or like what changed?
What changed is going to that meeting January 1st, and I walk into this room, right? And it's full of like candles, the lights are off. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Oh, like
Somebody's gonna
extra
sacrifice
culty
a lamb.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going real call.
Yeah.
Bring out the
Where's
lamb. We're about
the
to
guy in the
sacrifice a
hood?
lamb, right? Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
and I sat there. And again, it was the I think the national championship, and I had my phone looking at the game, and my buddy said, "Put your phone away." Okay. And at that time, at that moment, is when this guy spoke up and shared his story about he had, killed that family and spent that time in prison. And I don't know, that's what it was that clicked because I could relate to that. Like all these other meetings I went to, I was probably never paying attention because I didn't want to be there. But at that one moment, at the right time, at the right place, when I was listening, that guy shared a story and maybe, who knows, man, that was the moment for me that said, because I was on that path to wrap that car around a tree or
Hmm.
hit an innocent family. And I would have been the guy that got out of the car, walking around, looking at all the carnage and the wreck and wondering what's going on, right? Because we all hear those stories about the drunk driver that gets out and he's fine and leaves a family on the side of the road type of thing. So
Hmm.
I was right there. I didn't want to, and I the next day I started the 90 and 90. I got a big book, and he was my sponsor, and I talked to him just about every single day.
Hmm. Hmm. I remember for me, when I got into the steps, I forget. I think it was around step 3 or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna go full blue flamer on us tonight, but um, it was like my sponsor had me up on a chair, and I was reading out of the big. I think I was reading the third step prayer or something like that, and like he was showing me how my behavior was making me think that I was God, right? Like I'm trying to play God, and this person should have acted this way, and person should have acted that way. And he stopped me and he said, Dan, you forgot to send them the script, all sarcastic as he was. And that's what clicked for me and made me realize that like other people's behavior is not about me. And that's where the rubber really hit the road for me in that. So like tell us a little bit about maybe some times where you had a revelation or you had an awakening. Like did you ever have any of those like where the clouds parted and it made sense, or was it more of a gradual adventure for you?
I mean, for me, it was gradual to a point because I had again down here the courts. I had to go see psychiatrists and psychologists, and do community service. And it's funny because even my lawyer said you need to go to meetings. I had a psychiatrist, a therapist, psychiatrist say you need to go to meetings. And I didn't listen to any of that, man, until I finally went to a meeting because I legit thought it was a cult. Some people might still think it is, but that's what saved my life, man. And because believe me, I tried everything else under the sun. I tried meditation. I tried, all the therapies, all the things. My folks, two rehabs, uh, but it was that community of alcohol, of AA, that brought everything together, and that's when it clicked. Was January 1st of that year, 17, that I had that aha, moment. And after and over the last 6.5 years, what's cool, and I go weekly, right? People ask, why do you still go?
Hmm.
I mean, it's a daily thing, right? And people that are listening don't think that you can just, at least for me, that you're cured, right? And it just goes away. That's not how it works for me. I need a weekly touch point because what's interesting, a lot of times I'll go in and I'll hear somebody share. What's cool is to see the old timers, right? That have been 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That's what I want to get. But it's also interesting is when a young person comes in, especially with a DUI, I can relate to that story and I see the face and I look at myself, right? When I was 23 years old, that's me sitting there and I wish I could go back, man. I would have saved so money and time and stress, not from just myself, but my family, if I could have gone back. But I wouldn't have been where I'm at now if I wouldn't have gone through what I went through. So now I just try to help other people. If I could help just one person, a day, one a week, one a month, whatever. If it can impact somebody, that's a win. So that's kind of how it went down.
Hmm. Tell us about your first year. What was it like out in the world when you started to buy into the program?
So I was legit. I was scared, right? I was
Yeah,
because everything probably like you, like how am I going to? Here's how my mind worked. How am I going to do anything? Because in my mind, I would drink to play golf. I would
yeah.
drink when I traveled. Drink at happy hours. I wasn't the typical drunk. I didn't have a brown paper bag. I wasn't living under a bridge. All those things that you hear about what a drunk is, right? I
Hmm.
had the job, the house, the car. On the outside, everything looked okay. But yeah, that first year was a big change, and for the first 6 months, it was tough. I had to do a lot of work, um, and all the things. But I hit that 6 month. For me, it was 6 months, and the obsession to want to drink. Like, don't get me wrong, man. I wanted to still drink, after I quit, right? Because
Yeah,
it was freedom. It was a good, warm, fuzzy feeling. But I crossed that line a long time ago,
yeah,
and I knew I couldn't go back.
yeah. So you, even though like you went into the rooms and you felt as though like this was something clicked, it still felt to you like life was somehow over.
At the beginning,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely, right? And then it finally started to wear on, like, hey, I could, and then things started happening, right? Like, I didn't go to bars for 6 months, right? I didn't go to well, 39 years old. I wouldn't go to a nightclub anyway. But, I didn't go to bars for 6 months. That's what was a suggestion. Stay out of the bars. I did go to a bar one time because I thought I could, like a
hmm,
month or two after I quit drinking, which was miserable, right? I probably drank 15 bottles of water. I was looking around at everybody else having a good time. And for a split second, I was like, I can do that. I can have a good time. And
hmm,
then, I flipped it back. I was like, I can't. That's the reality, man. I can't ever drink again. And it was like a depressing feeling, but it was also like a feeling of freedom, right? Because I knew I could start doing things, meeting people, actually having real fun. So I mean, think about it this way: if you're out getting hammered and blackout drunk and you don't remember anything, how is that fun?
yeah. How do you
You
know?
know,
Yeah,
maybe it's fun for everybody else,
hmm,
watching. It's like the circus monkey here, right? Watch them, fill them up full of booze and watch them dance around. Welcome to Crazy Town type of thing. So,
hmm,
and then really cool things. Maybe after 2 years of sobriety, you mentioned earlier a couple of things. It just started happening, man. opportunities started to present themselves that I never thought, was able to be on Jay Leno's Garage, right? Out in California, got to meet Jay, uh, just spent some time with him. And by the way, he wears the same thing every day, blue jeans and a blue shirt
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Mm-hmm.
Super nice guy. A year after that, got invited to play down at Grove 23, which is Michael Jordan's golf course, right? Unbelievable guy, super competitive. Sat beside him, played cards for 4 hours. I wore, actually, it's funny, I wore, my uncle played basketball at Duke, so I wore a Duke golf shirt to his course. And if you
Yeah.
know Jordan, he played basketball at UNC.
Yeah.
And when he saw that golf shirt, he kind of gave me a little bit of a look, took the cigar back that he'd given me, and it's like, let's not wear that shirt next time. I was like, no
Okay.
problem. So it's just fun stuff, man. Good
So
things keep happening.
how did you get on in Jay with Jay Leno? Like, how did that happen?
It's so a friend of mine has a car collection here, and make a long story short, they saw something that we had posted on social media, and got that invite. Keep in mind, like 6.5 years before that, my posts were mainly of me partying, right? Going out, getting drunk. Here's where I'm at. Here's what I'm doing. All that stuff. And then the light switch flipped, and it just different things, man. Positive things started happening as a result of what I was doing. Right? I can't explain it. Some people call it the miracles. I just call it doing the right stuff, and
The
the right stuff.
promises.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us about the dogs. I mean, you had a mastiff named Tufton.
I did.
When we spoke a little bit, we didn't touch too much on it, but it sounds to me like he was a significant part of your journey. And now you have Pooh Bear, who is also a significant part of your journey. All you got to do is look at Instagram or Facebook, and it's all Pooh Bear. Uh,
Yeah.
Tell us about how your companion animals like helped you along this journey.
Man, do you try to make your guests cry on live TV?
Yes, I do.
All right, you're doing.
It's good for views.
He
Yeah.
also likes to see me get all choked up.
Yeah, I'll put her on.
Well,
If I see her
get ready.
crying, I'll put her on screen.
You do
Yeah,
do that,
get
don't you?
get yeah, get the tissues ready. No, I mean this dog was special, right? So I had him a total of 12 years. So the first 6 years of his life, I got him as a puppy. Never expected to get an animal. Never expected to be able to take care of anything, especially myself. And I got him at 10 weeks old. And the first 6 years was I was drunk a lot, right? This dog spent 2 days in my house while I was in jail and didn't use the bathroom. It was that kind of animal.
Wow.
Um, all right. So as I'm trying to, I might have to lean over here and get all screened for a second. I wasn't ready for all this, but that was him, right? So the in the last 6 years of his life, I was sober and I was able to, do amazing things and enjoy the companionship that this animal brought. But I can tell you right now, man, that dog is the reason. You can ask my folks, friends. That dog is the reason I kept going sometimes. The reason I came home, the reason I wanted to, keep living, is because of that dog. And it was a special animal, man. And he passed away back in October, and that was that.
I think
Yeah,
you mentioned like his passing sort of aligned with another event in your life.
yeah, it's weird, man. So this dog, English Mastiffs, if people know what a Mastiff is, they 6 to 8 years, right? They're big dogs. This guy went 12. He waited until I got married. He waited, and I say he waited. He probably has no concept of time or money. It's a dog. But in my mind, he waited for the wedding pictures to get taken, and a week after that, he passed. He passed away. Actually, it was a week, yeah, about a week. It might have been soon. Either way, he waited for those, and so he's in all those pictures, right? But that was really really cool, and in my mind, that dog stuck around for that moment.
Hmm. He wanted to make sure you were okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Let's take a bit of a break here. We'll give you a break. We'll
Oh,
look at
thank
some
you.
comments.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Have a drink of water, man. It's all
Yes,
good.
All
throw it
right.
over to me, and I'm trying not to cry over here.
Yeah,
Yeah. What
yeah.
are we doing
I
here?
I could have kept wailing on it, but I was like, nah, he's had enough.
Yeah. I was like, this guy's like a heavyweight fight here. He's beating me down. No, we're good.
So Jasmine Cabrera, thank you for your comment. She says, our animals can be our saviors. My cat was 100% my reason to get better. I was sent photos of my Bruce once I could, saying, I'm proud of you, Mom. My family knew it would be the motivation I needed.
Got Jason King.
Jason King says, best dog ever. Met him several times and amazing.
Oh man, Jason, what's up, man? I know that guy.
And
Very
we've
cool.
got Black Eagle on YouTube. It's here we go.
This gets back to earlier portion of the conversation, but she says, that's what keeps me sober. I haven't killed anyone yet.
Do you still carry that, Paul? Like, do you still look back on that someday? Like, I got to stay on the right line, like, because you go back to that story that you heard in the rooms.
1000%, right? I know if I drink, there's two options. I'm not going to have fun, right? I know that. That's the reality. I'm not going to have fun. I will either end up in prison or I'm going to kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not want either of those options. And I'm pretty good living the life I've got now, right? With the people I hang out with and the people I know. So yeah, that's just not an option for me.
Got one more here.
Jasmine, again, thank you for your comment. My late pup Kiffers passed a few months back, and I was in an online AA meeting. I was able to run out and hold him in my hands and be able to talk to my fellows in tears as soon as it happened. Okay, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, well,
Maybe
yeah.
I
What are we doing here?
maybe I
I say
shouldn't.
he
'Cause there's
waited until he knew I had support to get through that moment.
there's one more, and I'm
Come
like,
on, Daniel.
what's
I
over
was
here.
just gonna press
I know,
send, and then
right?
y'all started melting down, and I'm like, wait, no, maybe I shouldn't, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's a good one.
Cat Rand, thank you for your comment. Says, sounds like God knew you had to be married before taking the dog home. Okay, stop.
Okay, I'm done. I promise.
I'm done, man.
Yeah.
Look at her. Oh man.
Okay, we'll just end the comment section now. Sorry.
Man.
Well, and
Yeah,
that, but
it's yeah.
this is it though. But this is it, right? Like, this is the story. This is the things that people, it's hard to talk about, but it's important, right? Like, this was a really
And
meaningful
you
part of your journey.
and it's meaningful, right? Because back in the day, had that animal passed away when I was drinking, I would have drank myself probably to death.
Hmm.
Literally drank myself to death. But in sobriety, you've got feelings, right? I cried. I felt it. It hurt. People were worried if I was going to go get drunk, right?
Hmm.
Because that's how I would take care of everything. If it was a bad day, I'd drink. If it was a good day, I'd drink. If I won something, let's drink. If I lose, let's drink. The deal. But I remember laying beside that guy, and it seemed like forever. And I was able to be there for that at that moment when he passed. Right, I was able to be present and felt everything. I can promise you, I felt everything, and I still do, man.
You got Vincent chiming in here. Okay, no more. Let's go back to the darkness of
Yeah, go
drinking.
on. Yeah, let's go back to some car wrecks and fire or something.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
God.
So, and now you have Pooh Bear, which I was watching today, and I mean, God bless Pooh Bear's soul. He tries so hard to catch things. Like, you're always like throwing treats, and I wish that we would have loaded some up here so that we could have shared that with the viewers. But man, like, so tell me, like, you got through your first 6 months. The light came on. Now, did it feel like that a weight came off, or that maybe a weight came on? Like, when you started to feel these things, like, when the light comes on, typically we start to be revealed to the things that we did in the past that we have maybe hold some shame or some guilt for. What was that like for you? Was it like a relief, or was it like a
Yeah.
burden?
So no, man, it was such a huge relief. It would be like an analogy of this book bag that I've got sitting down here, right? And fill it up with a bunch of rocks, right? And I was slowly taking rocks out of the book bag that I've been carrying around for, I don't know, 25, 30 years, however long I drank, right? And each day that went by, I'd take another rock out, right? And that backpack, the book bag or whatever, got lighter and lighter every single day. And don't get me wrong, right? Some days a rock gets put back into the book bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've
Absolutely.
got the tools. Yeah, and I'm not going to lie and say everything's perfect and my life is amazing. We've all got issues, right? Life is not perfect, but I try to just avoid, um, putting more rocks in the book bag. I want to take more out than put in, and
Mm-hmm.
surrounding yourself with the right people. The people, places, and things. If you're around the right people, you've got to change those three, right? Change those people, because those friends that you had, and for people listening, you probably know as well, those friends you had when you drank and you partied or whatever, they're not going to call you anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how that happens. Those guys didn't call me anymore when I
Mm-hmm.
quit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the places, right? Why do I need to be in a bar at 10 o'clock at night? What's the point, right? I'm in bed now. This is
Mm-hmm.
past my bedtime right now, actually.
Yeah.
I'm old, so
Yeah.
but I get up early. And the things, right? You got to change up the things because alcohol takes a lot of time, man. And you've got to find other things because I didn't want to sit there when I quit drinking. It's like a clean slate, right? And if you sit there, your mind starts racing and you start questioning yourself. Am I doing the right thing? Can I go out? Can I stay in? So I just, I started, I flipped the switches and started working out, right? So I go work out at 5 in the morning, right? I used to not come home until 5 in the morning. I remember hearing the birds in the morning.
Oh, dude.
And you know what I'm talking about?
I make memes about the birds all the time, and like I'll like make memes about like the sunrise feels different when you wake up sober or something like that. And like when I talk about a sunrise, all the comments, like so many of them are about the birds. Like no, it's crazy how like such a common thread that is for so many people. Hearing the birds, like they're no longer sounding judgy. Now they're sounding like friendly and nice. Like I used to hate hearing
Yeah.
the birds.
I hated those damn things, man. That chirping, it was like a piercing noise to my ears.
It was like,
Here are the blackbirds again, or whatever they are.
yeah, it's like the guilt
Stop.
though, right? Because like the world's waking up and they're all like the old people are walking to the coffee shop and like things like that. I don't know if you guys do that in down there, but that's what happened up here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we drink coffee down here as well.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. That's not what I meant.
I know. It's funny, man. A quick bird story. I remember I forgot what birthday it was for my dad because I was drinking. So it would have been his 50th birthday. And for whatever reason, I went there at, I don't know, 5 in the morning. And my mom had set out 50 black crows in the front yard, right, for his 50th birthday.
Hmm.
Drunk, blacked out, made it home somehow to their house. And the combination of hearing the birds and seeing all these crows, I literally went around the whole front yard and started kicking them and just kicking these birds all over the place. And what a nightmare of a kid I was, right? The guy just wants to wake up for his 50th birthday, and my mom just
Hmm.
wants to surprise him. Here's this punk out here kicking these crows around. It's so stupid, man. Kicking these crows around in the front yard. I mean, some of the, another stupid story. I one Christmas, we're going to talk about funny stuff now, not none of the sad stuff. I remember
Right.
one Christmas I went out because I was staying at my folks, blackout drunk, ended up bringing the light up reindeer that people put in their yards.
Hmm.
Went to a couple of streets back to one of their neighbors and stole their reindeer and ended up putting them in my parents' front yard in a promiscuous, position. So the
Yeah.
one reindeer was standing and the other one was behind him with his head,
Merry Christmas.
yeah, hey, mom, dad, Merry Christmas. You got a couple reindeer outside making love or whatever. So there you
Yeah. Yeah. Where's the turkey?
go. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at a couple of more. And I'm sorry, everyone, we're not going to get to everybody. We got a slew of comments, and we really appreciate that. Like, thank you for joining the conversation. I even see some people communicating with each other in the chat. That's awesome. Like, that's what we're here for. We're here to foster and build community. So thank you, everyone. Oh my gosh, there's still so many comments in the queue. Donna like put like all of the comments.
I
Like,
did not.
there's like so many here that are in the queue. Like I don't even know which ones to pick from.
Well, I'm sorry, but everybody had such really good comments.
Okay,
But
well, I don't
I
know.
did try to be a little bit choosy, but there's just so many really good
There
Yeah.
is,
comments
yeah.
How about
tonight.
nothing about dogs? Nothing
There's
about
Okay,
dogs
nothing.
okay,
will be good.
okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. This one goes back, but Zach Drew.
Zach Drew says, proud of you, man. How long has it been since the 90 and 90?
Oh shoot! I mean, 6.5 years. So, January 1st, I started that 90/90. If I missed a day, I would double up. But I absolutely did. I probably even did more. But that 90 and 90, what the 90/90 did is it ingrained that repetition, or it also helped me to find meetings I liked, right? Because I went to some that were just not. I wasn't feeling it, man.
Yeah, man.
And that's the reality, right? They were weird, and I didn't
Maybe you were
fit
weird.
in. I am weird, right?
Maybe
Look
you
at
weren't
me,
weird enough. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 46 and I've got a man bun and I'm wearing a gold shirt. I mean, that's not normal, right? It's just, the 90/90 was imperative to
Yeah.
being able to network with people, getting that group of friends that was
Hmm.
going to help me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. You know, for me, it was like I needed a place where I could go practice being a human being. You know, like a
Yeah.
place that like they knew what I was going through. So like if I was like doing things that were like out of line, like they would tell me with love, you know? So that was a big part of having fellowship in my life early on. But
Yep.
I just want to, this will be the last one for tonight. Thank you all for the comments. I want to celebrate some sober time here with our friend Frances, saying she'll have 2 years without alcohol on the 24th. She says life is so much better. So
I know her,
I know her.
France. Yeah, man, she's an unbelievable person, and she saw me. I won't say where she worked, but I would come into the location she worked in many mornings, completely annihilated, uh, totally. I probably had blood on me sometimes. Face was red, but she was always the sweetest, nicest person, and that's awesome for 2 years, man. That's
Hmm.
cool.
Hmm.
That's neat. Seeing her face. It's cool.
Yeah. Oh, hang on now. There we go. So tell us about some lessons that you've learned in recovery. Like tell us about some things that that happened that have been meaningful. Send us off with some tools. Oh, and you guys don't log off yet. We are going to look at a clip from next week's guest towards the end, like at the end of the show here. So don't log off. You don't want to miss that. Paul, what have you
Are you
learned?
gonna make everybody Are you gonna make everybody cry next week too?
Yes, that is like
Okay,
my
good.
goal in life. Yeah.
God, this guy.
Hard Knocks Talks.
Yeah, it's just like like I said, man, the three, and I mentioned it a couple minutes ago. The three things. If I could leave people with this: the people, places, and things. I say it every time in a meeting. You've got to change those three things. If you don't, nothing's else going to change. And I think one other thing, right? You can't be forced to do it. I think initially you can be forced, like your husband or wife, your partner, or whatever. Can force you, like give you an ultimatum. Hey, if you don't stop drinking, I'm going to leave. Right? That might be the catalyst or the kickstart. But at the end of the day, you've got to want it because that pain that person's getting, that's going to go away eventually, right? And then you're going to be back to doing the same things. But you've got to want to do it, and you've got to put in the work. And again, it's not easy. It is extremely hard, but you've got to take it. In the beginning, it's a minute by minute, hour, day, and the days add up to weeks and months. In a year, man, and I think I'm coming up on. I think it might be 6.5 months. 6.5 years this month.
Hmm.
And then I do the countdown back, to back down to the 7 years, which is January 1st. So, yeah, man, people, places, things, and you've got to want to do it for yourself, and you can't do this for other people. It will impact and help other people,
Mm-hmm.
but you've got to do it. You've got to be the one to make the change.
Awesome. Okay, I just want to let everyone know that tonight's live production is also brought to you in part by Stronger Together Canada, peer-led support groups by Mum Stop the Harm. To learn more about all our sponsors, check out www.hardknockstalks.com. While you're there, check out some of our fresh summer 2023 merch and pick something up, show your support. Paul, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will let you go, and everyone stick around. Here's a clip from next week. We will see you then. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
My family's from the Kainai Nation, the Blood Tribe. I'm an alcoholic. Being the grandchild of a residential school survivor was very challenging. I grew up in a household of alcoholics and drug addicts. I had no one to talk to, no space that was safe for me, except for my grandmother. I think music is the thing that separated me from a lot of my friends and people I know that have the same issues but are no longer here today. Wanting to die but not being able to kill myself. It wasn't until my 6-month-old child and my wife were leaving that I decided that it was time for me to get help. I didn't want to be the father